Well, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. Look to the final word. Fulham 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. I'm going to be alongside a number of Wolves fans tonight talking about that late victory. Adama Traore with that late goal. We're here with Adama Traore's number one fan to kick us off, Mr. Matt Keeper. How you keeping, Matt?
We just had a conversation prior to this, and I'd completely forgot to let. Well, Dave said we were coming on to this, and I'm about 7 or 8 points deep, but we're all right. We're good to go. Dave said he didn't think I was going to be coming on, judging by my tweets, but we're here, and we're
Yeah,
and,
we're
and
here.
we're living for it.
Well, it's in the end. I mean, it wasn't a classic, mate, but we got there in the end. I mean, I don't know where can you start other than that finish by Adama. Good work by Fabio once again, slotting that ball through. And I mean, when you're at that angle, when you're Adama Traore, all you can do is blast it, mate. And I think he almost broke the net, did he?
Yeah, and like we know, he hasn't got like a place or a curled shot in his arsenal, but you know what he does got? Got an absolute rocket of a right foot, and when it does come off, boy, does it come off. But um, I mean, I asked questions to the keeper, and I spoke to my old man, who was a keeper as well. I was like, "Do you think the keeper should do better there?" And he's like, "He's hit it that hard." He's like, "The keeper hasn't got a chance." And I'm made up. I'm made up that he's got a goal, and obviously got an assist too recently. And it doesn't silence the critics, but it goes a little way towards silencing them because we know what a tremendous player he is. I adore him. Like I can't wait to get into bed and get my Adama Traore pajamas on. In my
Yeah.
Adama Traore bedspread. But yeah, it's a great finish. And you know what? Credit to Gibbs White and Silver in the build up because when Gibbs White come on, I thought like, what? Why don't you bring Vitinha on? Like we're all crying for Vitinha to come on. And Gibbs White come on, has played that ball for his Silver, who again looked bright. And yeah, it's a wonderful finish from Adama. But I feel bad saying like it papers over the cracks because we've won and we always said results over performances. But God, it was bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was really bad. We talk about the first half. I mean, to be fair, if we tried to speak about this game again, I'm pretty sure on the next podcast when you try and talk about it, there ain't going to be much to talk about in terms of the actual sort of 90 minutes. Obviously, the main talking point was right on half time, that disallowed goal. William Jose finally getting a goal. I think that's almost the typical or what we were expecting William Jose to score those sort of goals, them headed goals. But as soon as you saw that still image come up on the TV, we're back. And to be fair, VAR's not been too cruel to us this season. I think we had a really bad spell of it when we were in the crowds last year, but that's ridiculous, isn't it? I'll get an image of it up shortly,
Yeah.
but that was absolutely ridiculous, wasn't it?
Little spoiler here, and it's going to shock you. I'm going to give Nuno some credit. Um, I've noticed that when we went to the three up top when Neto came off, you had Pedence on the right, Adama through the middle, and Jose to the left. And I assume he's told Jose to go to the left and sit on their fullback, and we'll whip crosses into the back post, and hopefully you get your in on one. And that's exactly what happened. And it's a great ball in from Pedence. I think Pedence offers a little bit more in terms of his delivery compared to Neto. Obviously, Neto's a lot more electric and a bit more of a goal threat, but Pedence's delivery is normally bang on the money, and it was then, and it's a lovely glance header for Jose. And yeah, he has been pretty poor since he's come in, and I'm a bit gutted that he hasn't it hasn't counted, but hopefully it gives him a little bit more confidence. I mean, I'm very much in the camp of starting Fabio Silva, but it's a good header. But VAR, mate, like
Yeah,
I'm over it now anyway. And like as soon as they drew the lines, I was like, they're going to give that offside because it's level, and
yeah.
it's a width of a gnat's knob, and it's minuscule.
Yeah, I
You
mean
know what I mean?
there's the offside shout. I mean, what's the rule change here for you, Matt? Because obviously something's got to be done about that. Is it daylight between the lines? I don't think you can do daylight between the players. I don't think that would work. But do you think daylight between the lines is because
I
that's
think
just ridiculous, isn't it?
is it in the Dutch league where if um, the lines are touching or the lines are like a width of each other, then the attacker gets the benefit of the doubt. I think maybe something like that because obviously that goal would have stood, but it, it's mad that we've got to slow it down to frame by frame by frame by frame. Yeah, no Fulham player, no Fulham manager or coach has appealed for that. No one in the commentary box. It's it is ridiculous, mate. But I don't know. And I put in our group chat. I was like, I hope this VAR decision isn't going to be used as an excuse for us losing or drawing the game because up until then we weren't good enough at all. And
Yeah.
I know that this was probably going to be the massive talking point towards the end of the game. I'm just glad that Traore absolutely smashed it top bins, but the whole performance itself just was not good enough. I mean, at times it was like 7-2-1 against Fulham, and it's like I put a tweet. I was like, I'm past the point of wanting him out. I just want it to be better. Like I'm just sick of watching us play at the minute. Like it's mind numbing. I just want to watch Wolverhampton Wanderers play now and enjoy it like we have done for the season before. Like because at the minute, God, it's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, just before we finish as well, there's a picture of Jonathan Moss's bedroom before we we move on to the next part there. Jonathan Moss's bedroom. But yeah, I mean, that's obviously Neto came off, Matt. That was, I mean, his knee looks strapped up anyway, so obviously that he's almost trying to nurse that sort of knock there. Were you surprised with that change? Coutinho was a bit of a strange one because he could have almost kept the same shape and brought on Gibbs White, or Vitinha. It's a surprise he brought Gibbs White on ahead of Vitinha, but are you surprised with that change, or do you think he made the right decision with how the game was going?
I think Martinho is a good addition off the bench at any point. You know, he's not had a great season this season, but one thing he will do is steady the ship and he's a bit of experience, and he doesn't really give the ball away that much. But I was hoping to go for a 4-3-3 and try that, but obviously he went to the 5 at the back, and as soon as he went to the 5 at the back, we just surrendered possession, and we did do for most of them. Not like considering we had Martinho and Neves in the middle of the park. We just could not retain the ball at all. And I mean, it's in hindsight, it's worked now, and we've got the 3 points. But from a moment of brilliance from Adama, but I don't know, mate. I would have liked in a 4-3-3 or Vitinha come on, but I don't think he would have had Vitinha and Podence on at the same time. But I don't know, like. I just hope Neto isn't out for too long, because obviously we've got an extensive list of injuries at the minute, and it looks like it's his patella, the way it was strapped up. But he may have been nursing that for a while, and he's been playing through the pain. But we're just hoping that it's not nothing. I mean, it looks fairly innocuous anyway from the challenge. It's only a bit of a knock, but it might just be that it's just irritated, and it can be back for. I'm just looking at the Albion game, for honest, mate.
Yeah, I mean. Do you think we're safe now? Do you think that 3 points today was enough for us not to be dragged into that bottom race now?
Maybe, yeah, but I feel like it's ridiculous even talking about it, bro, because it's and I keep saying this, and I keep trying to remind fans that are just happy for us to stop up. When we had that start to the season, I know it's one of our best starts to the season in years. We were playing shit. Pardon my French, Dave. And we were saying
late night talking Wolves. This is, mate. Late night talking Wolves.
This is the sanctuary, mate. This is Pete talking Wolves after hours. We were saying, oh, perhaps we can get top 6 because the league's that bad. And then Jimenez got injured. It's like, right, let's try and finish 7th again. A few games after that, I'd be happy with a top half finish. A few games after that, we'd be happy with mid-table. A few games after that, we'd be happy with 11th, 12th. Now we're happy to stay up. It's like, at what point do you say, right, look, this now is not good enough, rather than just altering your expectations? Because apart from the Jimenez injury, nothing has changed. Literally nothing has changed, and you can't pin your whole season on Raul Jimenez. And because we were playing poorly with Jimenez in the side, although we scored 4 in 10, for me, it just has not been good enough. And I don't know. He'll keep his job next season without a doubt, but it's got to improve drastically. It has to improve drastically. It's just I can't keep watching it when it's like this, man. And I know we're in the Premier League, I'm in Europa League last season, but it's mind numbing. It's honestly.
Do you think if they have, I mean, this summer has to improve in terms of recruitment. It has to. But do you think if he gets the right bodies in, and I think there's still got to be 5 or 6 players at least coming in the summer. Do you think if he gets the right players in for the back four, for the fans' perspective, that's just going to be so much more enjoyable to watch in it as well? Because even today, the second half, even I sat down. I've sort of tolerated it this season. Even I sat down and thought, mate, this is crap. Like, we're not even against one of the worst teams in the league. We're not even having a go here.
I don't think it's the players, mate. Of course, we need additions, but I just think it's the system and the way we set up. And we've been set up not to lose, not rather than to win a game for the whole season. And it's just not good enough from a Wolverhampton Wanderers who were knocking on the door of the Europa League semi-final just less than 9 months ago. You look at the team now, and you could argue that Patricio, you could buy someone to replace Patricio because he's not been great this season, in my opinion. That's fair enough if you don't agree with that. You look at the left back, and we're going to need to sign a left back regardless. If we play a back four, we're going to need one or maybe two centre half. Folly, I think, could do a job. Maybe one more centre half. Another central midfielder. If Martino goes to Porto, which is what the rumours are, we need two. And then you're looking at you need another wide player. There's no way they're going to bring 5 or 6 players in. They're not going to bring 5 or 6 players in at the calibre of the player that we need. So I don't know, mate. I think it's going to be another tough season unless we see a lot of surprises. But one thing that has to happen, it has to improve. I think we can improve the personnel we've got, but I think the system needs to change. But the centre half weren't the issue tonight, mate. I thought Cody and Sace did a good job against Mitrovic.
They're all
dreading, but I think that the system just, I don't know, it really, the 5 at the back really restricts us. The 4 at the back, we look better, but defensively we're suspect. However, what I will say tonight is Semedo was brilliant.
Yeah.
Semedo was absolutely outstanding. And if Fulham do go down, I'd be getting Anthony Robinson.
Well, that's genuinely, you took the words out of my mouth. That was the next question. Out of that Fulham team, I think on the review that's just dropped before we went live, the players that I picked out were not so much Congolo, but that for somebody that's not started a Premier League game this season, I thought he was pretty solid on that left-hand side. He probably wasn't expecting to have to do a job on Adama, but he pretty much did. And Robinson and what's his name, the centre half, Anderson with his passing was tremendous as well.
Yeah, so. I like Anderson and I like Robinson. I think Robinson's a little more raw and would need some coaching, but he's got the attributes to be an outstanding wing back. I'd be if he go down. And I like Ngisa as well.
Did I when he came?
I like Ngisa. I think he's a very, very good player. But yeah, tonight wasn't good enough. But as we've said, and I've said so many times, results over performances, and we've got the result. And you know what, mate? In the short term, that's all I care about.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's shot us now. It's given us that little bit of a cushion in between us and the teams below. So I think next game, Sheffield United now. You've got to be winning that, haven't you, mate? I mean, arguably one of, obviously not quite, but one of the worst teams in the Premier League for a number of years. You win that, and we'll forget even relegation was on the cards or was an option, really.
Yeah, surely. I mean, we're up to 12 now. Obviously, the other teams have got to play tomorrow and Sunday and so forth. But I think the win tonight basically sees us safe. But beat Sheffield United, and yeah, we are safe. But again, we should be talking about that. Look at the players we've got.
Yeah. I mean, there's some great points as well, sorry, Matt, about Mr. Raffermir. Bagged another 2 goals tonight. What are you saying about him?
Fella, he's got an absolute bullet header tonight. I genuinely don't think he's good enough to come back and play for us. And I think
pre-season, you reckon? Do you reckon he deserves at least pre-season or a few weeks during pre-season?
I don't know, mate, because at the minute his stock's as it's high as potentially as a Wolves player ever going to be. I'm looking at it from a purely business point of view, and I think, is he realistically going to come in and play ahead of Silva or Jimenez and potentially Jose if we sign him, which I wouldn't. I don't think he is. He scored a load of goals for La Liga's bottom side. The Spanish team seem to really rate him. I reckon you can get 15 million for him. Let him go. I think it'd be a good bit of business. It would be a shame because it's kind of like, well, we'd never know. But for me, it may be that he's just one of those players who is just suited to a particular league. So if we can get rid of Catroni and Mir and Vinagre for, I don't know, £25 million, £30 million, then I am all for it. I saw that obviously the links that we posted earlier that Gwedge was linked with a move towards with Patrick Catroni going the other way. Again, I'd be all for that, but I don't know how that deal will be structured because I can't imagine Catroni's going to be worth much. What do you reckon, Dave? About 6 or 7 million?
Yeah, mate. You'll get a snip of what we paid for him.
And Gwedge probably they probably want 30 million for him, don't they? So I have to get Uncle George to get his little black book out and do us a favour because he hasn't done us one for the last 12 months.
Yeah. I mean, he worked against us last summer, didn't he? Taking 2 of our, better players away. But yeah. Anyway, Matt, I'll let you enjoy the rest of your evening, brother, and I'll chat to you very, very soon.
So, mate, I'll speak to you tomorrow, fella.
Yeah, nice one, mate. See you in a bit. Well, big thanks to Matt, guys. That was our first guest. Be sure to keep hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel and let us know, obviously, your thoughts. Loads of questions, obviously, for me, to the chat. out of that Fulham squad, would you be looking at any of those players? I thought a couple of their players, despite them obviously losing the game, had a couple of decent players in that sort of back five system, which Wolves have gone to, and a couple of loanees, Ait Nouri in particular, I know a lot of you were talking about. We'll move on to the next guest now. We've got Finn. Finn, how you keeping, mate?
Yeah, not bad. A bit relieved after that. The thing that comes to mind is boring. It was really, really dull.
Yeah.
Fulham have got an awful home record. I think they've scored 9 goals in how many other games have played, and we've put 5 at the back. We don't look like we're going to score.
Yeah.
But no, I'm happy. I'm happy. It had me smiling ear for ear. Seeing Adam Shari score at the end and seeing all the smiles in on the bench, because it meant a lot to Nuno. That did. I think it probably kept a lot of Nuno out fans off his back for a bit, especially with Burnley and Sheffield United coming up. I think we can push on a bit, but
Yeah.
it was really dull. Really dull.
Yeah. I mean, I think Nuno's probably having a huge sigh of relief there. You mentioned the Nuno in, Nuno out. What have you been, Finn, throughout this season?
It's
Or you been on the
tough
fence a little
because
bit?
on the fence, because I'm thinking Nuno out, but then you've got to look at players as well. I mean, we've had Patrick Catrone against West Brom. He should have put that away. Owen Asawi against Brighton. That could have been another 3 points there. Fabio Silva's missed one against Tottenham. He missed another against, I can't remember, and then I blame the players. But then we don't learn from our mistakes. We don't have great first halves, and we've had that for two seasons now. Really, I watch it with my dad, and he's thinking, "Oh, I'll put £5 on 0-0 at half time because you'll get your money back most of the time." But no, I'm Nuno in. I would love to see the reception our fans would give him with a full Molyneux. Because you can judge a lot from the crowd. I don't know if they'll be booing him off the pitch, but if we didn't get a result today and we didn't get a result against Sheffield United, there would probably be a few fans that weren't happy at all.
Yeah, we would have very much heard the relegation or seen the relegation with a hell of a lot. If we'd lost today, it would have been 6 points. And with our current form, mate, you know, it would have been interesting. But you said there earlier on, it was just boring. I probably know the answer to this, but was that because Fulham made it boring, tough for Wolves, or was it just how we set up?
I think Matt touched on it a bit earlier. It's a system we play. I'm a massive. I know he's off the pitch, he's a twat, but Morgan Gibbs-White, I love, if you watch him from a footballer's point of view, every time he gets the ball, he takes it on the half turn. And you said about
he wants
Fabio
to drive it forward, doesn't he? He's very forward thinking, I think.
If you look at Fabio, our goal that we scored at the end, it comes into Gibbs-White, he takes it on the half turn, beats his man. But if that came to Neves or Moutinho in the 90th minute, he would have played it back to Cody. And he would have. Yeah. And Morgan Gibbs-White always takes it on the half turn, and he always looks to go forward. And it won us a game tonight. If we didn't have Gibbs-White on the pitch, we wouldn't have won the game.
Yeah, but it's interesting that Nuno's given him that chance as well. I think if you said, right, we need to bring in an attacking midfielder or another midfielder, probably 9 out of 10 Wolves fans would have said, right, we'll bring Vitinha on then. I think I surprised everyone when Morgan came on, but I agree with you. When he came on, I'm sure a few fans are like, blooming heck, what's going on here? But I think he gets the ball and drives it forward. It's a shame if you had a player like that was maybe 6'3", 6'4", maybe in the mould of almost Owen Otasawi, you would have one hell of a driving, roaming midfielder there. But I think I do feel for him a little bit. You know, he's come back from Swansea having a decent spell there and just been sat on our bench, and finally today I think he has had a decent performance, hasn't he?
Yeah, it was nice to see. I mean, Vitinha, he's a nice player on the eye. He's Portuguese, quite clearly Portuguese. Like, he'll get the ball and he'll fanny around with it on the edge of the box. But I don't know what Nuno does at training, whether they just pass it sideways, but it's almost as if we go pass it sideways, give it to Neto or Adama, and then it's all too individual. But in the Championship we gave it to Jota and it was brilliant. But in the Premier, even against Fulham, they're still good. You talk about their right back Robinson, or whatever his name was, he's a good player. It will get worked out, and you can't just play it to your wing players and then hope for the best. They're good players in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, like, probably for the majority of that game, I think the last few games we've struggled to get the ball over to Adama because that seemed to be, especially towards the end of last season and the start of this season, the plan was just give it to Adama and hope. Obviously, we've been a bit more fortunate with Neto turning up a little bit more this season, but
Yeah,
saw today Fulham just seemed to have 2 or 3 men around Adama and he couldn't really do
yeah.
anything, could he? But he seemed a little bit more effective going up front, but that's the quality he's got. He needed that end product. He's created chances this season, but he took that goal pretty well in the end, didn't he?
Adama's a massive confidence player. That's what it looks like from a fan's point of view. I remember he scored that way he scored. He got that goal against Leeds where it came off the keeper's back. In the second half of that game, he was brilliant. He has been really unlucky. And it's a bit of a piss take when the commentators say he hasn't got goals or assists because Neto missed an open goal against West Ham when he crossed it in. The amount of times we've had chances off his crosses, he should have had 5, 6 assists at least.
Yeah.
But I mean, hopefully he'll grow. Going into Burnley and Sheffield United at home, hopefully Adama will pick up on his performance. And if we are going to sell him, I hope we don't. But if we are, hopefully it will boost his price tag another 10 million if he does get a few goals and assists because he's a player that I don't think anyone knows another player in the world that is quite like Adama Traore.
Yeah, 100%. I think Nuno talks about him and obviously admires him. You even saw that at the end of the game, when he had their little embrace. I think Nuno wants so much for it to work out for Adama Traore, but with work rate, like you see him off the ball today, like his work rate was phenomenal, and that's what we need to see more of as well. He's drawing fouls and those chances he created today. The number of chances he's created, that's what the social media pages and the pundits don't talk about today. You see, I think he's created the most chances without, a goal contribution up until the last game. And some of his crosses have been phenomenal. If we had a striker that had 15 goals and Adama was still on 1 or 0 goal contributions, then fair enough. But we haven't had anyone up there, have we?
Well, that's Jimenez, wasn't it? I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
the one that comes to mind was Liverpool last year. In front of a full Molineux, Traore gets it.
Phenomenal.
1-2 with Raul Jimenez, runs it down the wing, and that was all it was. And we did it against West Ham last year. It was just game after game. And we saw it against West Ham. His run down the wing and ball into Dendoncker. It was unbelievable. But I think that one thing that stands out to me is Cody at the minute. I think there's 2 big questions as a Wolves fan. You're either Nuno in or Nuno out at the moment, or it's whether we go to 5 at the back, where we'll play boring football, but we probably will get into the top 10 and win most games 1-0, like we have done today, like we did do most of last season, or we go to 4 at the back and we play a bit more expansive, but we've gone to 4 at the back in a season where we had 11 days of pre-season. We've tried to change our system like massively, but we haven't had the time to do it. And then obviously we've had the injury of Jimenez. But Cody, I can't remember really the last time I've seen Cody have a good game where he's spraying balls out left and right. I don't see it happening anymore. And if we do go to a 4 at the back, I would love to see Nuno try Saïss because it's an option we haven't gone for. And you can't tell me that if we're playing 4 at the back, we can't throw 20 million at a defender that is better than Conor Cody.
Yeah, I think that's where Nuno almost probably arguably needs to make one of his biggest decisions as Wolves manager. If they're going to back him this summer, I think we all know as fans, as much as a lot of fans will like Cody, you got to get rid of that sentiment. And I think, like you say, it's going to be tough to replace his leadership on the pitch, but I think that is going to be obviously one of the big decisions. But I don't think a lot of fans realise, like exactly what you said there, how underprepared Wolves were out of not our own faults due to a stupid international break right at the start of the season, no pre-season because of our own successes last term as well, and I don't think people appreciate that. And Nuno was talking about obviously changing the system and so on at the end of last season, and he never had chance to obviously sort of get that into the players of a pre-season. So fingers crossed. I think I agree with what you say. I mean, next season, if they're backing him, we get the right sort of players, obviously centre halves and maybe a new midfielder. Next season, we could be laughing, mate. I think it could be a really positive season.
Well, people don't know it because the commentators who commentate on the games and the punditry, they don't watch football outside the top 6, really. I mean, we've heard the same line. Jimenez is injured. And Wolves are playing 5 at the back is what they're best at. We've heard that every game. And that's all they talk about. And we shouldn't have gone to a 4 at the back. The stats show really that if you want to be a top 6 team, you need to play 4 at the back, and you need to have 65% possession and dominate games, which is what we tried to do, but we didn't have the time. And I think if the day that Nuno takes out Cody from the team, it will be a big shock to a lot of people, and it will hurt a lot of people, because obviously we've seen Cody come from what is really young and push up through the Wolves team, and now he's captain. But the day he takes Cody out the team, I will take seriously that we want to be a top 6, pushing for a European position. And I've said it since halfway through the season, really. I know he scored against Man City, but when you're playing 4 at the back, I wouldn't mind playing against Conor Cody. I mean, he's not much taller than me. I've got a bit of pace, probably a bit quicker than Cody. And but it's if I was Mitrovic today, I'll be saying, lads, Anderson, they got boot up to me. I'll hold off Cody and I'll win a foul. And I do think Bolly. The reason Nuno's not done it is because if you look at how it's all fell, Sace and Bolly haven't really had a chance where they can play together, because we're either playing 5 at the back, or Bolly's injured, or Sace is injured. And I would love to see Cody get dropped just for a game, and I might eat my words here, and we could lose 4-0, but I would like to see that option explored.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Well, I'll let you enjoy the rest of your evening. I can see a couple waiting to jump onto the stream, but yeah, Finn, I really appreciate you jumping on, mate, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, brother.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
No worries, in a bit. Oh, there we go, Tom. I've chucked you straight in there, mate. I was about to remove Finn. I've chucked you straight in. How you doing, Tom? You all right?
Caught me off guard there. I was getting prepared
right,
and everything. Yeah, not too bad. No, it's all right. Feeling a lot more positive.
Yeah, I know.
I think there's a bit of a delay going on.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that my end? I don't know. There we go, Tom. Is that any better, mate?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say there was a couple of comments. Pav, to be fair, I did say obviously the club didn't have a pre-season, and that's fair. You know, Cody hadn't had that training in the pre-season. Maybe we are being that little bit harsh on him. And James, I saw what he said there earlier. That better be water, not vodka. I can assure you it is water. I mean, if we lost the game, it may have been a bit of absinthe in there or something, mate. But yeah, it's definitely water. Tom, we left it late, mate, but that's a huge 3 points, isn't it? A bit of a sigh of relief for everybody.
Yeah, I think it is. I think we didn't play particularly well. I think if we hadn't scored that goal in the last minute, I think a lot of us would have been really, really angry with the way that we played. Obviously, the goal does change our feeling about the result, but I think the performance itself was pretty underwhelming. To be honest, it was about what I expected. I think about 20, 25 minutes in, I said that it was going to be a 0-0, and I was almost proved right, but I'm happy to be proved wrong. I mean, we haven't had many of those moments this season like we did last season, where, we've scored a goal in the last minute. That was last season when that happened quite often. We had quite a few of those moments. It was nice to have one of those this year, especially Adama as well. He's coming for a lot of flack. And it was 3 players involved in the goal that have had probably the three of the most criticised players, I think. Gibbs, White, Silva and Adama, who were all sort of very 50-50 on the fan base. Lovely flick by Gibbs White, obviously, which was nice to see. It's nice to see him involved in a goal. I've given him his fair share of stick, but more so to do with his footballing side of things.
Yeah.
And then a really, really nice pass from Fabio as well. First time, weighted it perfectly, and a really nice finish as well. So, all in all, really nice goal. But I think concerns really with the performance and the attitude, I think, of the performance in terms of being so negative against a team in the bottom 3, really.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to touch on Fabio Silva. We haven't spoke about him too much tonight, but what do you think it is with him? He's come in last couple of games, scored a very nice goal last time. Obviously, unfortunately, it was on the losing end and got an assist today. Fans slowly starting to warm to him, because I think the majority of this week what I've seen is let's start Fabio. What do you think it is with him? Do you think he's genuinely improved over the season, or do you think that people just don't think Willian Jose is good enough and Fabio's the only option to change it up?
Um, it's one of those really. I think Fabio Silva has shown in the games that he's played, particularly recently, that he's got a lot of ability. He's very, very intelligent for a player of his age. A lot of the runs that Jimenez makes and the positions that he picks up are what Jimenez does. And, he's only 18 as well. And Jimenez is, 29? So you've got to think about that in the sense that how good he is as a player at his age. I don't think there's many players in his age group, 18 years of age, that are as intelligent as, in terms of forward movement. And I think he offers up a lot more than Willian Jose does. Really good goal for Jose today. Really, really unlucky that it got called offside, to be honest. Still no idea who signed off on that decision. But apart from the goal, again, he didn't offer too much in the way of link-up play. For such a physical presence, he doesn't get stuck in. He doesn't press a lot. And I think Fabio Silva is a bit more mobile. Yes, he can be a bit clumsier and a bit more naive. But, I mean, that's to be expected. He's still learning his trade. It's going to be one of those players that I think after a couple of years we will start to see how good he really is. He's already got 3 goals this season. He's got an assist now to his name. He's up there with some of the. If you're looking at goals and assists, he's probably in that mid-range or upper range of young under-21s players. Really, I mean, Mason Greenwood doesn't have much more than him this season.
I think Fabio's
and he's touted as one of England's best young prospects.
Yeah.
There you go. Exactly. Point proven. I think that he's been unfairly criticised, really, for his lack of goal output. I think if we'd have brought him in for 5 million, people would be raving about him, saying, what a good bit of business that is. He's got a lot of promise. But I said to my dad, £35 million, probably about 10 million of that was going to George Mendes' pocket, so we really only paid 20 million, 25 million for the player himself. So, in my eyes, I think it's good business. And I think he definitely offers up more than Jose does from our system's point of view.
Yeah. Like Mouldy said there, I think obviously as a young player with age, with experience, he's going to bulk out a little bit as well. I'm pretty sure I've said this probably on the channel before. The likes of Henry, the likes of Drogba, these elite level strikers that are in the Premier League that are probably Premier League legends. You find images of them when they first joined the Premier League, and it's a similar sort of case, really. But Tom, it's a positive win. Back 4 we started with, switched to a back 5. Obviously, it was quite surprised possibly to see Matinho on for Neto. What do you think the plan is for the remainder of the season? Surely against Sheffield United, you've got to be going with a back 4 and going for the game.
I think we've got to. It's a tough one. I was very frustrated to see us go with the back 5, to be honest, because I just thought, this is a team that we can get at if we put them under enough pressure, like we saw Villa do the other weekend. I think that they can be very, very weak defensively. I thought we looked okay with the 4 at the back, to be fair. We had a few hairy moments, but I thought defensively we were actually quite good today. I was really worried with Mitrovic playing, but I thought Cody and Soyuz handled him really well. And I don't think Fulham really got too many sniffs in with their other players as well. I think I would have liked to see the 4 at the back for longer. I would have liked to see maybe Vitinha come on or Gibbs-White come on earlier. Just something a little bit different rather than bring on Matinho. I think it was a bit predictable, really, that he was going to bring on a more defensive-minded player. To be honest, I thought he was going to stick with 4-3-3 and have Neves, Dendoncker and Matinho in midfield. But I guess reverting back to the 5 at the back makes sense if you try not to lose. But again, you go back to what I said last time, which was that the attitude has changed within the squad, where a couple of seasons ago we were going into every game believing we could win. Now we're going into every game trying to figure out how not to, lose, because we've made so many individual errors this season. I think the players themselves have lost a little bit of that belief that they were infallible, which I think they had in previous seasons. Even when we lost, It was more of the case of, right, we go again. We know exactly what we're going to do for the next opponents. I remember Matt Doherty saying something like that in an interview that he did with the Athletic. So I think that mentality has gone. I don't know whether that's a Nuno thing or the players thing or both. Maybe one's responsible for the other. But yeah, I thought we looked okay with both formations, but so sloppy in possession, which is not like us. If we want to play possession football, we've got to have players that are going to be able to do that. And at the moment, it doesn't look like we do.
Yeah, it was a strange game. I mean, we haven't really touched much on the VAR decision, Tom. Quickly before I let you go, what are your overall thoughts on that? Because obviously, looking at that, it was a bit of a ridiculous decision, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, shocking. I was fuming, to be honest, because out of all of the leagues that have implemented VAR, our system, the Premier League, has been probably the worst. It's just so inconsistent. It's so poor as well. The amount of, if you were to tally up and put a compilation of the amount of mistakes that we've made consistently over the past few years with VAR, I think that, you know, you would sort of realise that the system has been implemented wrong. I also think that the officials are very, very poor. I, for the life of me, cannot understand why we don't bring in foreign refs. I know that the FA employ the referees and therefore they go through the FA refereeing system, and they have a whole league system based, you know, the FA has this whole league system on how they choose referees. But I think that choosing foreign referees from other countries would be a good shout, because we've seen that they're consistently chosen in the Champions League. They're far stronger with their decisions. They don't get bullied around by players as much as the English referees do. And I think the VAR works far better in the Europa League, Champions League, Eredivisie, Bundesliga, Liga. We haven't seen anywhere near as many problems. You know, and that's why it's such big news when something does happen in those leagues, because it doesn't happen very often. Whereas in the Premier League, it's sort of a weekly thing. It's like, right, what mistake are we going to have this time? I mean, there's literally Twitter accounts called, you know, as VAR made a mistake this week. It sort of says it all, really. So yeah, really, really disappointing result with that decision, but we still got the win. So it's sort of a relief, really, that we managed to get the 3 points still, despite the decision.
Yeah, I can't imagine what social media would have been like if obviously we dropped points in that game, and obviously that was the decision we saw just before half time. I think it would have been painful logging onto Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. So yeah, obviously glad we got the 3 points.
We're near the end of it for 2 months.
Exactly. I'll let you enjoy the rest of your evening and your weekend, mate, and appreciate you jumping on as always, and I'll catch you soon.
You too, mate. Take care.
Cheers, mate. Big thanks to Tom for jumping on. We've got a couple more guests, guys, coming up. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We are fast approaching 9,000 subscribers. A lot of you shouting for Rafa Mir, which I'll try and bring up with my next couple of guests as well. We'll move on to our next guest, though. We've got Mr. Michael Bibb. Bibb, how you keeping, mate?
I'm not too bad, Dave. How are you, mate?
Yeah, first of all, love that T-shirt, mate. Limited edition. There's no more of them about these days. Grand Theft Auto.
Just
Love
a really
that.
nice shirt. Like, it's the fact, like, I'm with all my mates and they're like, because obviously they all watch the videos as well, so they're like, really, really nice T-shirts. So as far as I'm concerned, well built. And to the people that didn't get one, unlucky, lads.
Yeah, shame on you. Maybe another run in the summer. Who knows? But Bibb, obviously, you've been very critical over recent performances, recent decisions by the management and the structure. But what were your thoughts on that one today?
Christ, Dave, critical's an understatement, to be honest with you, mate. To be fair, it's one of them where with the circumstances that we came into today's game, where we needed the 3 points, no matter what the circumstances were, no matter how we done it, it was a case of get the 3 points, everything else is just a bonus on there as well. And given the circumstances before the game, I can't lie to you, if we would have lost that game, obviously there would have been a bigger worry about the relegation. And even if we would have come out with a draw today, I think a lot of people would have been saying, why are we going with a back five? Why are we playing this against, you know, a team that's third from bottom, worst home form in the league? And it felt as though for long periods we played into their strengths. I mean, Adama Traore is just, he's different gravy. Like, it's the worst part is, like, everyone can see this. Everyone can see that, you know, Adama's got this ability. Everyone can see Adama's got the quality. There was only one time that he turned his man and he scored an absolutely brilliant goal. Yeah, this man does, to be honest. No, to be fair though, but we done enough. I wouldn't say we done enough to win the game. Our quality shined through at the end of the day. There's still a lot of things that need to be worked on, but as far as I'm concerned, the 3 points a day is massive because it stops any relegation fears. And now we should look to, move on to next season. I'd say give new players opportunities, and it's a case of build from now to the start of next season, because who knows what the hell could happen. As this season for me, just end it already.
So you say that build for next season, obviously sort of lay the groundwork down. What do you mean by that? What should Nuno be doing between now and the end of the season? Should be sticking with a formation that he thinks he's going to try next season, start experimenting, giving those lone players more of a chance? I suppose Jose and Ain't Norbury could, if they really wanted to, just pick themselves. But, Vitinha maybe a little bit more. What do you think Nuno should be doing between now and the end of the campaign?
Well, obviously, as many people point out, that I'm not the manager, so obviously I'm not one to comment on anything. But no, to be fair, it's a case now where you bed through the young players, you give them the first team experience, which is something that we haven't had for a very, very long time. And I feel as though you get your Otasawi's getting first team football, you're getting your Gibbs White's actually playing in his proper position, you're getting your other players in a four at the back for me, because I personally believe that's the formation that will move us forward. With the players we've got now, you can completely understand why we go five at the back, because every player suits it. Between now and the end of the season, it should be a case of looking at, the players who have been here for a long time, the players who haven't performed this season, to say, look, if you can fit into this system next season and you can show consistent performances, then fair enough, you can move forward with us. And then you bed through the young players as well, because I think there was a stat where it was like, Neto's the only one where it seems like the young player that's come through and actually made a difference. It seems like Otasawi's not had his opportunities. Kilman, to a degree, you can kind of understand, but at the same time, the way he's kind of been isolated out, I don't necessarily agree with. Do I think he'll be here next season? No, because I feel as though it says a lot if our defence is bad and he's one of our better defenders. I think that says more about the defence rather
and he's still not getting a shout in the current back four, is he? We were dreadful last time, and he's still not even getting a shout, is he?
No, it's fine, because I don't know what he's done to Nuno. He's definitely done something, to be honest. But
got the dirt on him.
Yeah, most probably, to be honest. But no, I think it's going to be more a case of build with the four, build with the attacking options, and who knows, give someone like a Rafa Mir, for example, like if he comes back from his loan, opportunity just to see what he does in the first team picture, and if he ain't good enough for those couple of games, we'll just say, look, we can tell he's not good enough. Just get rid of him. But as long as the players get the adequate opportunities and the right, chances to actually see what they can do, then yeah, I'm all for it, to be honest with you, Dave.
Yeah, I think Rafa Mir will be an interesting one. I think obviously we saw Nuno talking about pre-season and stuff the last few days, and it seems like we're not going to be able to have these exotic trips abroad, and it is going to be games obviously in England and the UK. And if fans are able to watch them, and they're going to televise them a lot more, it'd be great to see Rafa Mir in a Wool shirt again, to see what he can do, and actually see the fans being able to see him as well. But I mean, we looked at Fulham today. They had obviously a plan. They sat deep for the majority of the game up until the second half, where we for some reason decided to sit deep. I've asked before, obviously, a couple of questions to the people in the chat and people on who've jumped on. Out of that Fulham squad, is there anyone there, if they go down, is there anyone there that Nuno should maybe be taking a look at and taking a punt on?
The one player that I will scream out that we should probably get is that Andre Frank Zambo Anguissa. I mean, as soon as he came on today, it just looked like he made the difference. He looked like he could beat his man. And he just looked like he was going to win every tackle. He's probably the only one you look at as to think, yeah, he improves the area that we need to improve in. And plus as well, he's also got that sell-on value as well, which I think is a big thing for us as well. Because unfortunately with us at this moment in time, and something that we have got to accept unfortunately, is that we're going to become a selling club. And if you become a selling club, then you've got to find the right players to come in and be added and, add that quality in. Don't get me wrong, it's a risky game plan to do, but Anguissa fits kind of everything that we need now. He kind of fits everything that we need in the future as well. And I'll tell you what, Dave, I'm probably going to be obsessed with the guy by next week, to be honest.
I'm sure on the next Fans React, you'll have a moan at Dendoncker and say bring Zambo Anguissa in, probably. I'm sure we'll hear that at one point as well. And I mean, you got admirers for your flat cap as well there, Bib, from the very own Matt Cooper. So you've done something right today, mate.
To be fair, I'll be completely honest with you, and just same with everyone. The trim's an absolute joke at this moment in time. If anyone watches the fan review, they'll just be able to see how dead that trim is. It's quite funny, and I do feel sorry for you, Dave, having to pretty much edit me swearing every week. To be honest.
It's all right, mate. It's the passion, the Wolves fan passion. But Bib, I'll let you enjoy the rest of your evening, mate. Anyway, the rest of your weekend, and we'll move on to our final guest. So yeah, I'll catch you very soon, mate.
Good stuff, mate. Cheers, Dave.
Nice one, mate. Big thanks to Bib for jumping on. As always, guys, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We'll move on to our final guest. We've got Mr. Harry Mansell. How you keeping, mate?
Yeah, really good, Dave. You good?
Good, yeah, good. I saw you have a little laugh as soon as you logged on and saw Bib was live. I saw you there.
When I haven't been watching it through, and then I logged on. I looked. I was like, "Has he got like a farmer's hat on? What's going on here?" I love Bib. I think he's hilarious. I love him, man.
Mate, I mean, I think you're similar to me, Harry, when we're watching the Wolves. We're pretty chilled out. Obviously, we want to see us play good football, but we don't get too stressed out about it. But I mean, that was good, wasn't it, to finally get 3 points there? And it's even better that Adama's got that last-minute goal.
Yeah, I was so happy we scored at the end after the VAR ruling out William Jose's. It wasn't the best game, Dave. It was quite boring, but I'll take that after the going 3-0 down against West Ham. I was worried seeing the same team. Obviously, he got changed up a bit when Neto went off injured. Hopefully, he's okay. And I honestly thought it was going to be 0-0, but I'll tell you what, Fabio Silva again, contributing, great assist. Even shout out to Gibbs White. It was probably a foul on him in the build-up, but the ref gave advantage. And I don't know if it's bad goalkeeping or a great finish, but I'm going to say great finish because there was some power on it. And I captained him in my FPL, so I was buzzing when it went in.
There you go. I've just seen that on the screen. Mansell captain Adama, mate. Into the roll safe gif here. Well. I mean, it's good. I liked Adama today. I thought his work rate was much better today. And he even played a much more central role as well. Where I'll be honest, the striker thing with Adama is I've never really been a big fan of. But today it really worked. And he probably played there 60 odd minutes as well. He got himself about a little bit. And I think with Adama, you just know. Give him one chance, give him that little bit of space, and he'll take it. But he's still a lot to do, mate, with that chance. The fact he's put his foot through, I think he's probably caught the keeper by surprise there, hasn't he?
Yeah, when he went through, mate, I didn't think he'd score because first half he had that left-footed one, didn't he? Where he scuffed it wide.
Oh yeah.
So I had that in my mind a bit, but it was weird as well when they switched to the 5 at the back and we had the 3 up front. William Jose was on the left a lot, wasn't he? Because you mentioned Adama was from the middle. That surprised me too. But yeah, fair play to Adama. I was just so happy for him and his reaction as well. He was he didn't know whether to go mad or he was just trying to be cool, wasn't he, when he ran off?
He was a bit
with
cool
Fabio.
and then he just exploded, didn't he?
Yeah, I love that. But huge win, mate, because if we lose that somehow, then it's meltdown again, isn't it? And people are going to start talking about relegation. So I think that's it now, isn't it? We're safe, completely safe. We were anyway, I think, but completely. And good performance. Well, is it a good performance? I don't know. I suppose it is because we haven't conceded, have we? After shipping in
on the road, mate.
Yeah, exactly. And Fulham, I know they've lost the last 3, but they did well against Liverpool. I watched that game, so they're fighting for their lives. They got Mitrovic, Loftus Cheek as well. That header that could have been a goal. So we got away with one, and I'm happy. We got the 3 points. Bit of a smash and grab, but I think we deserved it in the end.
Yeah, I think you could tell how gutty Fulham were as well. They almost, it was so structured.
Dave, who was the geezer crying? Who was that?
Lamina, what was that about?
Yeah, I looked. I was like, what's going on here? I don't know what that was about.
But that you could tell they were gutted. I think I don't know if they had more chances to win it than us. I can't, other than that Loftus Cheek, I don't think they had any clear-cut chances. I think we restricted them.
Mitrovic had one, didn't he? That one that looped wide, but apart from that, mate, I know Cody usually has a nightmare. There was that one when they wrestled each other to the ground, and did Cody get booked for that? I think I can't remember, but I thought on the whole though we did okay. Semedo as well, mate. I thought was really good. Sort of give him a shout out. Put a few good balls in, but yeah, much better. I was a bit baffled at the time though when he brought Moutinho on. I would have probably done a bit something different to that, but it worked in the end, so we can't criticise it too much.
Yeah, the one thing that I noticed today that I've not really seen before, I may be wrong, but the fullback's taking the set pieces, the wide set pieces. So on the right and ain't
Stace that free kick.
I saw that.
What was that about, that set piece?
The thing is, though, I remember I think it was last season, about Christmas last season, he did one in training where he banged one in from that sort of range. Yeah. And then the game after was against Leicester. and Kasper Schmeichel had obviously seen it because Schmeichel just stood like right on the post where Sace was going to smash it. I thought, right, Neves just do this now because look how much space Schmeichel's left you. Neves just dip it over. So when we had one at that range, I called it before the players even went up to it. I thought, all right, Sace is on this. And it was a shame. Like, on the replay, it wasn't actually that far away, but it was a strange.
Yeah, he tried to go goalkeeper side, didn't he, to like shock him, but it didn't. He obviously didn't win on target. But mate, what Neves? I don't know if you've already mentioned it already on this stream, but he used to be able to bend him up and over from there, didn't he? That one against Everton, you think of the first. Why? What's happened? I just don't get what's happened. I remember against, I think in the Championship as well, in front of the South Bank, he had one where he put a top bin, similar position. He just must not have the confidence anymore to do it. Because when it's in that position, surely Neves should be the one hitting them. I just don't get what's happened to his free kick ability. I have no idea.
You'd always back him, wouldn't you? I think in the Championship, every time you had one from that range, you'd put a tenner on him to put it into the back of the net, wouldn't you? And unfortunately now he doesn't see that much of a threat. But those wide free kicks, I think we've scored a decent amount of goals from them. But it was just interesting that I saw the right back and the left back on those today because I don't think I've ever seen that. It's quite an interesting tactic that he's put forward there as well. But it's obviously a good victory, Harry. But we started with that 4, like you said. We switched to the 5. Rest of the season for you now, or let's talk about the next game, Sheffield United, a team that have been diabolical this season. What system would you like to see Nuno go with?
Well, now we may as well just try the 4 still and just try and improve it. It was a bit better defensively as we played at the beginning of the game today. So maybe just keep trying it, mate. Yeah, I suppose with injuries too. I'm guessing Bolly will be back. Will Bolly be back for Sheffield United after self-isolating?
I think he's back on Tuesday, so he should be, yeah.
Yeah, but even if he is back, maybe still try the 4 because Nuno said, I watched a bit of his interview before the game and they asked him about the formation and that, and he keeps saying things like, well, we're trying to find a balance between the two, but whatever that means. I don't know what the balance between the two is, but we may as well just play 4 at the back, try and attack and try and score goals, and we may as well, haven't we? What's the point in sitting 5 at the back now and just being negative and boring? We may as well go 4 at the back and maybe try a few people out, maybe try and give Otasawi another run and people like that. Maybe start Hoover, maybe give Vitinha a run towards the end, as we know. We're pretty much safe, but maybe in Nuno's head he wants to try and get a top 10. I don't know, but we'll see what he does.
Yeah, I'd love it. I think Sheffield United are so fragile this season. They've been so poor, and if we put an attacking display like we did against West Ham against Sheffield United, even like our defensively, if we play high, you've got David McGoldrick or Ollie McBurney or whatever up front for them, mate. If we concede to them, we ought to be down there. You know what I mean? But if we put an attacking display in like we did against West Ham, we could. I'm not going to say we will because we won't, but we could. Knock 2 or 3 goals past them, and it should be a positive performance. But
it'd be nice to see as a spanker team, wouldn't it, as well?
We've never really done it under Nuno. We got a couple of 4-0s in the Championship, but even in the Championship, even in the Prem, there was games we dominated. Just like, let's go for it. Let's get 6. Yeah. We could have had games we got 5 or 6 goals.
It's not his style, though, is it? Like, we'll go 2-0 up against Sheffield United, and he'll switch us to a 5 to see it out. You know what he's like. Yeah. I'd love to see it, but you mentioned McBurney. I mean, we're linked with him, so we better not slag him off. Imagine signing him.
I think when I posted it on Talking Wall, I think people genuinely, because I posted it, think I want to sign him. No, I don't think people understand, what Twitter and rumours are.
Dave, like we say, there's no smoke without fire, so where's that come from, mate?
All the smoke, all the fires, mate.
Yeah, where's it come from?
We tried to get him on an interview, mate. It's definitely not going to happen. It will last 2 minutes, that will, I'll tell you now. But I mean, overall, Harry, 1-0 win. That's us now safe, surely. And I know you said earlier, like, we should have been safe anyway, but that's us safe now. We shouldn't need to worry, should we?
No. I was a little bit worried, like a tiny bit worried before the game, that if we lose, then we're going to, but it was in our hands still with the fixtures we've got coming up, and we're fine. We are. Fulham will be absolutely down in the dumps after that. You saw their reaction. We mentioned, you saw the reaction, the lad crying you mentioned earlier, and that's it. And it's been a really frustrating season. Obviously, there's still a lot of games to go. It's been a frustrating time in life in general, hasn't it? So we just need to push on now, get through to next season, hope we can get our injuries sorted out and some good signings in, and try and get back to pushing towards the top 7 again, like we have finished 7th twice in a row. We've got to try and get back there, haven't we?
Fingers crossed, mate. It's been a strange old season. I think it's been huge sigh of relief. It would have been a long weekend for many Wolves fans, I think, if we hadn't won today. So it takes a bit of pressure off. We can all have a drink over the weekend, go on a nice spring walk or whatever people do these days whilst we're about to come out of lockdown. But Harry, I will let you enjoy the rest of your evening and your weekend, brother, and I'll chat to you very soon.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. See you in a bit.
No worries, man. Have a good one. See you later.
Cheers, bye.
Well, big thanks to Harry, big thanks to Matt, Finn, Bib, Tom and Harry for all jumping on today, guys. Really enjoyed the stream. I can see, obviously, Lewis in here as well. Burnley fans, Newcastle fans, all delighted that Wolves got the 3 points today to take pressure off those teams like your Burnleys, like your Newcastles down there. And I saw, obviously, those teams now all scrapping. Is it between Newcastle and Burnley, guys? Let me know in the comment section of the stream as well. It's been a really enjoyable one today. I think we spoke about many points. Fortunately, I thought, the main talking point was going to be VAR, and I was going to have to get my screen out again and talk about those lines and so on. But fortunately, that wasn't the case. But really, really good to see. Really good to see Adama grab the goal. Good to see Fabio Silva getting involved. Morgan Gibbs-White getting involved as well. Kaiser Chief, that would be phenomenal, mate. I don't think that would. I was going to say feel like winning the league. It wouldn't, but that would be phenomenal. What can someone work it out? What would need to happen for us to relegate West Brom? Would they have to lose every game and results go not even our way, against them? That would be phenomenal. Appreciate Harleen for jumping in, mate. But guys, some phenomenal content coming out on Talking Wolves over the next few weeks or so. We've got loads of interviews lined up at the moment with ex-Wolves players, so be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. The first one is going to be dropping on Sunday, where me and Matt spoke to ex-Wolves and England winger Matt Jarvis. So it was a really, really good talk with him. A spoiler or a teaser for that will be out tomorrow sometime. But I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of your evening anyway, guys. I'm going to go and edit the fans reacting now. So if you're going to be up for another sort of half an hour to an hour, that'll be out before you go to sleep. If not, obviously get on it in the morning. But be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Finley Lewis, we're not mathematically safe. I think it's 4 points, mate. 4 more points. Obviously, if results go our way, I think maybe a win against Sheffield United, and we should mathematically be safe. But yeah, looking forward to it. Ross, me and Matt Cooper do the interviews, mate. So we've got one with Matt Jarvis, and then we've got another one with another ex-Wolves player coming out later this week. But I'll let you enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys, and I will catch you all extremely soon. Thanks a lot for tuning in.